G'day guys, it's Paul here from Osmo Garage. Just want a big shout out and thanks to the boys at Harvey Norman Warrawong. They hooked me up with this new camera, so bear with me, just sorting it all out. So, not working on Bob today, so this is not a part 5 of the Bob project, because unfortunately Bob doesn't pay the bills. Because Bob is a project bike, I've got to sort of allocate my time to customer work and keep customers happy, rather than restore a bike, which takes a lot of time and money and that kind of thing. So I will get back to Bob very soon, but I'm just going to show you something while we're here today on another customer's bike, which relates to all CBRs in general. And that thing is it's a bit of a personal annoyance of mine, so to speak. And look, to be fair, a lot of it is lack of experience or understanding, and then you get these bikes and working on them, and every other Tom, Dick and Harry's had a crack at it. So by the time you got it, it's just a red hot mess. And what I'm going to talk about today is wiring harness and cabling routes on the MC22, because it's quite difficult. There's drawings, but I find them, I struggle with them. They're just like, black and white, and you're trying to work out, does this cable go under, does that go over? It's kind of, I don't know, it's almost a code thing. So we're going to go through a customer bike, Mr. Quack, hope he doesn't mind. So we're just going to go through how to run the wiring diagram, the difference between the Aussie and the input wiring diagram, and a couple of key points when you route the wiring diagram. So let's have a look. So here we have Mr. Quack's MC22. I'm doing a restoration on. It's absolutely coming up stunning. I'm really like the way this is coming along. So really nice. So this is an Aussie model. You can see I've done a lot of detail and cleaning. It's all happening. Forks rebuilt, whatnot. So we're not going to get sidetracked. So with the wiring harness, putting it on, I always start here, right? In this clip here, and I'll show you. Right, here we go. There's a clip here, and they just unclip easy enough. Just a little screwdriver. So I always start about there, and there's your wire here for your radiator fan. So if we go back here, and then the harness. Oh my gosh, this camera's being emotional. So the harness runs along here. I'll probably get around the other side a bit easier. There you go, tucks in there. There's your wire for your coils. Now your coil sits, when you mount the coils up to here, sits in here, and you'll see a groove in the coil. I left it out on purpose so you guys can see. The harness sits in that groove, and then this wire comes along here, goes through the bolt, right? And that locks the coil pack in. I'll just grab a coil pack. Oh, this is off Bob, but he won't mind. There's that groove there I was talking about. The harness sits in there, right? And that's the bolt there. So you've got your 2 bolts. Let's sort that out. It's a red hot mess. All right, from there. What are you doing? So from here, cable runs along, right? There's a holder here. This is for your pickup. You've got your green wire, neutral. Green wire is your neutral, and the blue and red is your all press the switch. Look, guys, if you want to have fun, and if your mates have got MC22 and they're working on it, when they're not looking, swap these 2 wires around. It will do their head in, right? So those of you know what happens, it's pretty funny. It doesn't harm the bike, but yeah, it'll set up a whole, I don't know, one bike won't start, it'll start for 10 seconds and won't start, and then start for 3 seconds. Anyway, I digress. So here's your temperature sensor, right there. Oh man, learning this camera. There's your first clip here. This first clip here is onto the thermostat bracket there, right? So you got a clip there. Oh, that sits in there. Oh, here's your clutch diode too. if you're ever wondering where your clutch diode, it's actually taped into the harness. See that? You can just see the plug through the plastic there. So, right, it comes up inside here. There we go, where we come on. We're going to go back and we're going to come back to the front, right? Oh, yeah, there. I'll tell you what. All right, hopefully. So see this, see that white cable tie? That's actually a factory, believe it or not. Now there's just behind, yeah, come on. So just behind the fuel tank drain thing here, there's a clip that goes onto the frame, right? Comes back through. I'm going to go back and forth a few times. It's just one of those thingies. What's this gimbal moving all the time? It's really hard to see, but I have to show you something else. Anyway, it comes out through here, comes out through there, and then another attachment here for your regulator. Harness comes along here. This for your CDI unit. CDI unit there. Then it comes across here. This is for your stator. The green one at the back is for your side stand. Right, and then you've got your blinker relay. Now, harness comes in here, right? Tucks in right there, okay? She pops out just here, just after the regulator. Yep. Comes out just here. Clips on there, and there's your last clip. And there's all your wires for your blinkers, 2 greens, and you got orange and your blue. And then your tail light, which goes through here. I won't go for the blinkers, they're pretty easy. I was going to show you. Oh, these things here, man, honestly. These are reusable, so don't cut them, people, man. Seriously, there's a little lever, push it up. A little lever on the back of it, push it up, and then, look, I'm doing this one hand. Yeah, see that little lever there? Pushes up. Right, to get these off, this would be a good one to show you anyway. To get these off, so just lift this up, just there, right, that's it. See, it's got that big groove and the little clicky thing. So feed it, job done. Yeah, that way. That's it. You can still buy some of these clips. I know you can buy that one, you can still buy this one for Honda. That's actually an OEM cable tie, that's where it sits, believe it or not. Now, while we're here, let's have a look at something else. That's your starter. Your feed from your starter motor comes up here, along there sits, there's a clip here, all right, sits over this bar, comes up, and it's ready for the starter relay, which I haven't got in place at the moment. Probably should have got that out. There's your starter relay plug. These cause all sorts of issues. You can see this one's been hot in its day. This is where your 30 amp fuse sits, your main fuse. So unless this is plugged in and it's got good connection, you've got no power to the rest of the bike. So you can have a great battery if this is funky as. I normally pull this back and sometimes I pull these connections out. It's actually a pretty bad fault on these Hondas. You can see this discoloration of those wires. I might have to investigate a bit more on that one. So this plug, so it sits like that on an angle, and the insulation breaks and you wash the bike and it gets moisture in, corrosion, all sorts of stuff, gets hot, starts melting plastic and plugs. So you can buy these aftermarket replacements and a little bit of a loom. Common thing in these older Hondas. The other one is this stator plug. This has been redone because when I first got this bike, I'll see if I can put a picture. It had BP connectors. Terrible idea. So I had my mate, he's an auto spark, he was here and he's like, yeah, I'll fix it for you. Job done. How cool these foot pegs are. Go Honda. All right, so stator wire. It's a kind of a tricky one. Oh, I just noticed there's a bolt missing out of the clutch bracket. I'll have to sort that out too. Another job. So I'm going to show you this. This is going to be interesting. Let me have a look. Let me have a good look. Give me a sec. I need a poker. Just bear with me, guys. Somewhere here. I can edit this out if I want to. Or not. I don't really care. Alright, so and then my screwdriver, stator comes out there, goes under this hose, travels under here, right, pops out just there, just see in there, pops out there, comes along. There's another clip here in the frame, a subframe, comes up here under this tray here. Now what I tend to do is I put the side stand harness down first, stator, and the last one is the earth negative side of the battery, just there. Now with that, it connects to the back. Gosh, this camera's really hard to see what's going on. It connects to the rear bolt of the starter motor. While we're on the side stand switch, here we go, side stand switch, right up here, clips up here, goes up there, up there's one of these, what are these things called? Can't remember what they're called now. They come around here, there's your oil pressure wire. Alright, that's the general to keep the wires neat and tidy. Now I'm moving to the front, right, here's your fuse. Now you notice with Honda and many other manufacturers, the idea is to keep this harness away from this, right? Because you don't want a wire, all right, like here. So when you turn the handlebars, I've seen bikes where they, you turn the handlebars and it's munching on the wires. And the other thing is you don't want wires bending all the time. So I've seen later model bikes where they actually are bending and they're having issues. So anyway, harness comes through here, up through here. It's another one of those clips green use. Now you cannot buy these ones anymore from Honda, no longer available, so don't cut them. There's a lever on the back here, unclip it. So all your wires come through here. Now I'm just going to show you the route. I've left these headlights out just so you can see the route a bit. This is what I call, my poker again, this is what I like to call the headlight loom. That comes up through here. So between the headlight breaker and the middle of the meter stay here, the headlight loom, there's your high beam relay, there's your right hand headlight plug. This is actually a little white clip, clips in the back of the headlight, and there's your wires for your blinker. Now this is an Aussie model, that's why it's got 3 wires. I'll explain in a sec later. Now, let's go from this side. Now I haven't put the brakes back on this bike, but I know exactly where this kill switch, it runs across the top of the fork again, so I can't get crushed. Don't be sticking behind the fork, right? And then your brake lines will come down here, right? They'll come down here off the master cylinder down there. There's your first, this first clip for the brake lines, and they split left and right. Then your throttle cables will come around the brake lines because the handlebar's turning back and forth the whole time, right? So they come around through here and they just sit down here, right? Because you're turning handlebars left and right, those throttle cables are growing and shrinking. They're getting longer and shorter because they're just moving back and forward. The brake lines are stationary. I've seen people try to put them under the brake lines. Same with this. We'll leave this here. So your movement on this harness is just there. It should have a little bobbin clip just under to the ignition switch. Now you notice this wire goes over, right, and then here's another one of those clips like I showed you. You can still buy these from Honda. And you notice this is a really cool thing to see. these wires have got a blue tape around it. That's original blue tape to show that's where it gets fixed. So you've got your ignition switch here, sorry, your kill switch, there's your ignition wire right there, and then this is the wiring from the left-hand switch block. I'll go on to that now because that's also an area of confusion. Right, switch block goes here, right in front of the handle, front of the fork, in this choke bracket clip thing, right, sits under here, right, and then while we're here, choke cable first in this groove, choke cable, sorry, clutch cable, choke cable, and then the harness just sits there, and the old clip on there. And like I said, it should have another one of these clips there. And then you look under the triple clamp, you've got your clutch and choke, and there's a bracket that comes off here and holds these cables. And while we're on the clutch cable, it sits on the inside of this bracket, right? Once the radiator goes on. I've left it off because I want to clean the radiator. I've already done the valve connectors on this bike. Right. And while we're at radiators, guys, this is a pivot. Pivot, it's not a mount. Stop putting bolts in there. Seriously. There's only one mount here on this side. Quick release radiator, stop putting bolts on the other side. That's my gripe. So that's the wiring harness. Right, I'm going to talk to you about something else interesting. So one of the differences between the Aussie and the import, I've got this is off Bob. You notice here, so this is the headlight loom. You know, obviously got two wires. I've got to replace that end. But here, just as it comes out of the loom, it's got this plug here, right? So that would in turn, that should be on this one somewhere here, but it's not. So this is where your park light loom attaches. So that's on the import. So you got your park lights, and this is interesting. So I've got this headlight, it's got no park light hole in it. So that's an Aussie headlight. And that's the import. So it's got the hole for the park light. There you go. So what the Aussies have, I'll show you, this is pretty cool. Remember I said the blinker's got 3 wires? Here's the original Aussie front blinker. It's got 3 wires. So obviously the green's the earth. Just trying to remember which one's which. Green's the earth, and I think the one with the white tracer, the blue with white tracer, that's your park light. So notice that bulb. It's a weird bulb. It's a dual filament bulb on the Aussies. So this is a 21 watt bulb. Right, and I'll show you what it does. So I'll come over here. Look at some of these gorgeous bikes. Over here to Ruby. Ruby's a bit dirty, but it's okay. So this is my little unicorn. So when I turn the ignition on, see that? I've got like a daytime running light, I guess. There you go, there's my blinker. Pretty cool too. I've actually got an MC17 here, which is mine. For that, same thing, cool. So when these bikes came into Australia, when they were brought in and complied as Aussie models, or later on, or they imported as the, you know, after 94 Jap imports, they would, just trying to remember which one it is. So they would either cut this wire or tape it in the harness so you couldn't connect it, because you weren't allowed to have those orange lights at the front, but now you can. Go figure. Oh, the other thing I was going to show, which is pretty cool. Where is it? Oh, over here. Because of those daytime running lights on the Aussie and compared to the import, there's 2 different type of flash relays. So this one here, you can see this number, FR3303. There's some readings on there. It says, you know, 21 watt plus times 2 plus 3.4, and then this is off Bob. Sorry, Bob. This is 18 watt plus, sorry, times 2 plus 1.7. What does all that jargon mean? So if I go over here, Oh, I'm getting a really bad camera shadow. That's bad. Ugh, that's not going to work. I'll kill that. I'll read it out to you so you can... It's all right, enjoy the view. So, what it is, because that Aussie has the front lights, the front indicators are 21 watt, and the rears are 15, and the dash bulbs are 3.4. Right, so it's total of 39.4 watts on that one side. That's the front rear blinker and the dash indicator for the blinker. So that's why the relays for the Aussies and imports are different, blinker relays. And with the import, they came out standard with 18 front and rear watts, and the dash bulb's 1.7, so it's a total of 34.7 watts. You can run, I generally just run 15 watts in my imports when I restore them. They work fine. You'll notice a lot of these blinkers you get off eBay and Allied Express and all that sort of stuff, they have 10 watts, so I'll just put that in there. So that's why if sometimes you'll, if you put 15 watt bulbs all around in your bike and it's blinking too fast or too slow, I can't remember which one it is. I'll just turn this camera around. Yeah, it's probably just got the wrong relay in it, bro. So, yeah, but that's it. It was just a little handy hint how to run these wiring, because I've been, yeah, it gets confusing sometimes trying to work out stuff. So, yeah, that's it.